All right, guys, thank you so much for coming out on a Saturday and joining us. This was amazing. I honestly didn't expect that many people, but to my surprise, you guys are here, and I really thankful for that, and my team does as well. So I see so many new faces, which is great, and thank you so much for supporting us. I don't know how you find out about this meetup, but you'll find out, what we do and how we do things momentarily. Well, again, my name is Marco Palacios. I'm the president co-founder of Pacific Hackers Association. And yeah, we've been doing this for a while, and we're growing, as you will see. But first of all, before I continue, number one thing, there's no discrimination here. We have no asshole rule, so we don't have egos, right? So leave those egos on the side. And yeah, be respectful with everyone here in the room. We're a community, we're a family, okay? So again, treat everybody with respect. So we're gonna talk briefly about, what Pacific Hackers is and what we do. So again, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we're in a mission to fix some issues in the cybersecurity field. Number one, diversity, right? We want more women in the field, more people of color. Number two, education, right? Because we know there's so many programs out there, but some of them don't really teach what you need to know in order to get a job, right? And the HR process, right? We still see a lot of junior positions requiring a CISSP, and in order to get a CISSP, you need 5 years of experience, right? So again, yeah, we're in this together, and again, we're a family, and this is the opportunity where I would like to introduce my team really quick. So I was going to make them come, but you just stand up. So my team, Max, Alevsky, Rob, Itzik, these are my volunteers that are part of my team, and they are the ones making the changes and for you guys, right? So thank you so much. Thank you guys for what you do, and all the time that you provide to Pacific Hackers. So Pacific Hackers Meetup. We've been doing this meetup since 2016. And it's been a long ride. We started in a conference room in a company that's no longer around here in Mountain View, and it was just we were meeting on Sundays, and then eventually we have to move out, and we went to the MLK library in downtown San Jose, and eventually the pandemic hit us, and we just continued doing it. We never really stopped. We started doing it hybrid, remote, and then eventually when things opened up, we started doing it hybrid, and that's when we started doing a hackathon. And yeah, we've been here since then, so since 2022. So again, we do a lot of events. As you will see, we were just a meetup that was mainly in the South Bay, once every Sunday. Eventually, we changed it to Saturday, but now it's becoming more like, yeah, twice a month, 3 times a month, and we're just growing on events, as you will see. So as you can see, our next event is going to be in San Francisco. It's going to be on February 11th, and it's going to be a web app hacking workshop. So the co-founder or the founder of Pentester Lab is going to be giving the workshop. So you're familiar with Pentester Lab, he's going to be there, so you can really get to know him. February 22nd, we're going to be here. And there's going to be another talk on misconfiguration-based attacks. So again, now, kind of spoiler alert, this might change because we're actually going to add more stuff into it, as you will see. Now, we always are looking for speakers. So if you would like to start your career in public speaking, this is the place. I always like to mention that people that now are speaking at B-Sides, Black Hat, RSA, DEF CON. At one point, they started here when they didn't have any experience or anything. They were literally just starting. They were looking for a place to speak, almost like one of those, what's it called? The Toastmasters. Yeah, we're literally the Toastmasters of cybersecurity here in Silicon Valley. That's literally who we are. Yeah, and some of them forget where they came from, but the majority of them are very grateful to come back and speak, okay? So if you would like to speak, here's the QR code to submit your talks. We're always looking for workshops. We're always looking for technical talks and stuff like that, okay? All right, and we do a lot of community and collaboration with different organizations. OWASP is one of them. WIS is another one. To last week actually, we had a meetup here with OWASP. It turned out really well, and we're looking forward to do more collaboration with other entities. So and also like this Wednesday, we have one with SUSE where they give a workshop in open source virtualization. So again, this is the one from this Wednesday. I forgot to take it off. This is the one for February 11th. And then that's going to be in San Francisco at SEMGREP headquarters. So thank you, SEMGREP. And then 2 days later, we're going to be doing a pickleball event. If you're familiar with pickle, I don't know, I haven't even done pickleball, but so it's a fundraising event that we're doing free to attend. We're gonna announce it pretty soon on social media. But if you follow our meetup page, you will appear there as well. And again, free food, drinks, prices. Just come by, say hi, and yeah, we're gonna be there on the 13th. And then a day later, our CEO, our head of public relations, Kat, and myself, we're gonna be talking at Cactus Con. So Jen and I were talking, and then Kat is doing one by herself. Then for our women, we're gonna have another event in Oakland. This is something that one of our Lauren, our volunteer, she has been running this event for the last 3 years. And again, it's just to get more women in the field, and it's basically a Galentine's, if you're familiar with that concept. But so basically, the first 2 hours are women's only, and then from 4 o'clock on, it's mixed. So come after 4 o'clock, and yeah, support our women in the field and make this grow. And then we're going to be expanding to South Cal. So you know someone in the South Cal area. We are collaborating with another organization to bring SunsetCon. And basically, again, they've been running this other conference for 22 years. They want to expand to do more security. And that's where, they approached us and say, hey, help us to create this other, conference. So we are creating SunsetCon, and it's going to be our first year. We'll see how it goes. The whole point is to build a community in South Cal. So eventually we're going to be doing stuff in South Cal as well. Last but not least, April 28th, Hack the Bay is coming back. So for the people who were in Hack the Bay last year, or if you know the story, it was just 100-person gathering. It turned out to be a 500+ people gathering to the point where like we could not fit more people where we did it in last year. So this year we're going bigger. We're actually doing it in a underground nightclub, so it looks very hacker. So again, we're hackers, right? So we have to find places like that. So Public Works on April 28th. We're still working on the details, but again, it's during B-Sides in San Francisco. So that Monday after B-Sides, before RSA, that's when we're doing it. And last year, again, it went really, really well. Okay. And lastly, our Pacific Hackers Conference. So if you don't know, we have a conference, and we've been doing it for 5 years now. This is going to be 2025 is going to be the 6-year anniversary. We just had it in November 2nd here at Hacker Dojo. In fact, all the editions of Pacific Hackers Conference has been at Hacker Dojo, whether it was in the old location or this location. But sadly, we're actually growing. Last year, it turned out more than what I expected. Just like today, I didn't expect that many people in the conference, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, we have a lot of sign-ups. And at that point, it's like, what am I gonna do with all these people? And again, it's a good problem to have, but that means we're growing and we will need a bigger location. So we're still deciding if we're gonna do it here and we're just gonna rent more tents, or we're actually gonna be looking for a bigger place to host this event. Okay, so we'll keep you guys posted. And I always like to thank our sponsors and supporters, and I always like to thank Hacker Dojo for for providing the space. And if you don't know what Hacker Dojo is, it's a hacker space, maker space. I'll be more than happy to provide tours if you want, if you never been here, but basically we have a podcast room, two conference room, electronic lab, laser, and as you saw, there is a classroom and the main space where you can do events and stuff, okay? And again, to all our sponsors, thank you so much for making this happen because we cannot do it without you. And yeah, so if you want to join, well, actually, before I mention about the community, we always need your help, and it's not just about money. It's about spreading the word, telling people who we are, what we do. If you need someone who wants to get in the field, send it to us. We'll coach them and we'll tell them what they need to do in order to get to the next level. If you're hiring, let us know that you're hiring so we can send you people your way. If you want to share the knowledge, again, the QR code for submitting for the CFP for the meetups is here. If your company likes to sponsor or would like to help, please let them know that we are always looking for help, okay? And we have a Discord community, so if you would like to join our Discord, please, do so. Here is the QR code, and yeah, we're slowly being more active, but we're gonna get there. So please join us in Discord, okay? And last but not least, before I'll shut up and pass it on to Max. If you wanna get a hold of me, email is great. I'm also on X, but more heavily on LinkedIn. And if you want to find me on Discord, I'm Mark in Discord. And with that, I would just want to thank you again for coming up today. I know it's hard to be, you could be with your family, with your friends, with your significant other, but you're here, and that that comes from my heart. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And with that, I'll pass it on to Max and Alevsky. They're gonna be doing the CFT walkthrough. So I'll let them explain more about it. Which, by the way, they are the ones who created the CTF last year. We never had a CTF platform, and I gave them the task to create a CTF, and I gave them a 11-month, time frame to have it ready. Well, Hack the Bay happened to we came up with Hack the Bay, so I told them, hey guys, we need a CTF in 2 months or less than 2 months. So they worked their ass off and then eventually created the CTF that now we have. So I really want to thank those guys. And not just them, but all the people who contributed, Itzik, Rob, everybody who were in the CTF team. So thank you guys. And yeah, let's come on over. Next. We're going to website to share my screen. Well, you can connect it. But you will need an adapter. You forget, right?
No, I can do HDMI.
Are you? Oh, yeah. Where is it? Where is it? Share the second screen. Yeah, I'll just. Thanks. Okay. Over here. And yeah. Duplicate?
Yeah, do.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. On Zoom. Desktop.
There you go.
Perfect. Yes. Okay, now. Strand. Okay, well. I've been here. Wait. Sorry. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyway, yes. So back in. I'm sorry. We can start. Hello, thank you everyone for coming. Last year, throughout the entirety of last year, Levsky and I did a lot of work to put together an interactive hacking game and simulator, also known as a CTF, Capture the Flag competition. And throughout the year, we ran it multiple times. We ran it at Hack the Bay, at the DEF CON barbecue, and at Pacific Hackers Conference most recently. And throughout all of that, we've been gathering feedback from all of you, improving the challenges, building new challenges, thinking about ways to improve it. And yeah, generally this is where we're at right now, doing a review, coming into the new year, thinking about where to bring the CTF going forward.
So the idea for today is we're gonna be releasing or doing a walkthrough for over the most popular challenges, meaning challenges that most of you or the people that played last year solved. So we are all learned, and also we get some feedback, and hopefully that also motivate us to work on building new challenges for this year. So we're gonna start with the web challenges, which he's gonna go over them, and then we're gonna do some of the crypto challenges. Was the two more popular categories of challenges for last year. So you are welcome to go to this website, pacifichackers.com. You can sign up. You don't have to put like real information or anything, and you are welcome to do the challenges with yourself. So with that said, I think Max is going to start doing the web, and then after finishing that, I'm going to start doing some of the. Yeah. Any questions? I'm going to be around. You can ask Marco, myself, Max, go first. So enjoy.
Question. So I've used CTF as well.
Mhm.
Are you guys using the hosted version or are you self-hosting it? If you are self-hosting, I'd love to talk to you about customization.
Self-hosting.
Self-hosting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually run for.
Oh,
Yes, and apologies, I'm having a bit of a technical difficulty here when I try to share my screen. Allow remote interaction, I suppose. It won't let me do anything else. This is only when I'm recording. Sorry, Marco, I'm having a technical issue here. Well, I can't use anything else. I can't use my computer at all while I'm recording. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can stop sharing and then go back and just do my thing. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I should share this. There's system window capture.
In the meantime, all we can sign up.
Yeah. Go to pacifichackers.com, all lowercase, all one word. Create a user, create a team, it could be anything. Just get yourself access to the challenges, and Levsky and I can help you with that. I'm gonna need more than Firefox. We're gonna be using a man line and everything.
that's not true.
Yeah. Right, system desktop capture is what I tried before.
If no, that's okay. We can just record it as is,
Okay.
and I can potentially just move the that to the front. Let me see. Oh. Look,
Yeah, it might be something weird with my computer. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes. Oh yeah, we can use this. We're coming up with innovative solutions here. QuickTime Planner. I am on Linux, unfortunately. Use OBS.
All right.
Okay, we'll work with this. Anyway, all of you can see this just fine, and that's this is the only issue with recording. Before I start, I want to ask if any of you were able to try out our CTF at past events, like whether at Pacific Hackers Conference, Hack Bay. You two, you. Okay, a couple people. So what I'm wondering is, we had a lot of challenges, and what we want to go, as Alevsky mentioned, we want to go through some of the solutions here to teach you how to do them. Especially since they've been run a few times, give you the secret sauce. But we're wondering if anyone has any preferences as to what we cover first. Today, we wanted to focus on the cryptography and web challenges since they're the most popular. But are there any in particular anyone is super curious about? Maybe try for artists, the artist one? Okay. All right, well, we can start with artists. This was a newer one. All of the web challenges are created by our web challenge designer, Cameron. Unfortunately, he's not here right now. He's in Nevada, but he makes these really awesome challenges. And artist is one of the later ones. So yeah, I'll get started. Just want to make sure, has everyone been able to log in, create an account, and get to this challenges page right here? Okay. If anyone has an issue, talk to Alevsky. I'll just jump right into it. Oh, bigger, yes. There we go. Yeah. If you want me to make it bigger, just shout bigger at me or something. All right, let's get started. So artist is a challenge. It's meant to be easy, medium, somewhat. The premise is I made this super simple website for some of my artist friends. How creative can you get? And it gives us both a link to the website and a handout, which we'll look at in a minute. Let me see if I can. Yes. So artist.ctf.pacifichackers.com brings us to a simple web page. Welcome to the most simple drawing experience of your life. Let your creativity flow. You can draw here, draw little stick figures. You can erase, undo, redo, clear, you know, anything you want. This is pretty simple, but I don't see anything we can hack here, so to speak. But there's this little options settings button. When we click it, we can see we can set background settings. We can set the color of the background, some nice pinkish purple, reddish shades, or we can actually set it to our own custom backgrounds. We can set a hex color, you can make it all black. Or here's the interesting part. Apparently, we can set a URL to a PNG image here. Now that's interesting. So we can set a PNG image as our background. Now, this is the point where I want to pivot over to the handout that we're given. If you download this, which I've already done, go in your downloads folder, it's a zip file. You can unzip it, and I believe it will create a directory called artist. You can open that in your file explorer, or I have it open in the command line here, Linux command line. Oh, yes, yes. Actually, shoot, I hope I can make the command line bigger. Yes, I can. All right, there we go. So looking at the handout we're given, there appears to be some source code. There's a Docker file. For any of you who don't know, Docker is typically used for deploying applications. An Nginx config. Nginx is a server. There's an app.py. This is probably this is a Python file. Python's a popular programming language. Indicates there's probably some Python code in here. Let's take a look. We print it out. We have a Python script here. At the very top, they're importing Flask. For those who don't know, Flask is a very popular web application program for Python. It allows you to make web applications. So we can assume that this website is probably being written in Flask. So that's useful. If we scroll down, we can see the routes that are defined in Flask. The route labeled / is the default route or root. It's basically what gets hosted when you just go to the website for the first time. It appears to be rendering an HTML file, index.html. What's interesting is this route right here, / set background. If you look at this, this is probably the route that controls setting the background. As we can see here, the very first step is it looks at the request and makes a post request, which post requests are HTTP requests that contain data of some sort. That's a very like basic way of putting it. It's more complicated than that, but basically, in this first line, we're getting the data for a field named background. And so essentially what's happening is when I press this button here, apply, a request is being sent to / set background, and the background data, the data contained in background is probably whatever we put in this, whatever we put in that field. Now, we don't know this for sure. This is speculation, just looking at the source code, but we can confirm it. And in order to do that, the very basic way is if everyone on your, whether you're using Chrome or Firefox, hit F12 on your web browser. Hitting F12 will bring up the developer tools. These are very useful. These are, this is something that you're going to want to use pretty much every time you're trying to hack a website. It allows you to look at a bunch of things. It allows you to look at the raw HTML of the web page. It allows you to run JavaScript. It allows you to look at network requests that are going from your computer to the website and coming back. This in particular is what we're interested in because we want to see what happens when we try to set the background. If you go to the network tab on Chrome, I think it's still called network. I'm on Firefox. If you go to this tab and you reload the page while it's open, network. Yes, yeah, let me make this bigger. I can. Can I make this bigger? There we go. So here I am on the network tab. This is on Firefox. I believe on Chrome it's named similarly. You should have a list of requests here, which would show a status, a method, a domain, etc. I wonder if I could dock this to the right. Yeah, anyway, something weird has happened here. It's not letting me refresh the page. Might just be slow. Yeah, that might be the case. Hopefully it'll load sometime. So essentially what we're trying to look at here is the requests being sent to and from the website. And these will be listed here in the network tab. For example, when I hit refresh, it's sending a GET request to artist.ctf.pacifichackers.com. And they have the specific file path here, which is a / the root directory, which you'll notice is the wrong tab, is this route right here. So we're grabbing index.html from the web server. And we have a gateway timeout. Woohoo! More technical difficulties. Thanks, Alevsky. We have it running on a Kubernetes cluster, which should, allocate more resources, but maybe there's a issue. All right. Who's
We know you're right, we'll let you back out there soon.
Yeah, as a note, it's a very it's in the hacker mentality to like try to brute force these websites and like find hidden directories, hidden files, break credentials. It's a good idea, but for our CTF, I assure you, none of the web challenges require brute forcing. We should have that disclaimer here, but in the other ones, no uneducated brute forcing of the website is necessary to solve a challenge. Okay, let's give it another shot. Oh, yep, it works. So I was able to refresh the page, and it has a status of 200. 200 is the okay status for requests. It means it went through, everything was fine. Anyway, let's do what I was planning on doing before, try to set the background, see what happens. Look at that. There's a request to set background. That's the same name, and we have the full request here. It's a post request to the URL /set background, and that's the same name as the route listed here. So, and also we can examine the request in more detail. By default down here, it'll show you the headers, but you can also look at the request itself. And as we can see here, the request sent a JSON object with the field background set to our input. And we can view it raw. This is what the JSON looks like raw. And this is exactly what the Flask app is grabbing in the backend. When it says request.json.get background, the background variable is being set to hashtag 0000FF. Now let's continue our reverse engineering of this code. Down further, we can see if not background starts with pound, or if it starts with RGB. This is some filtering. It's basically saying it's probably filtering out hex codes. So if we don't submit a hex code, it's going to try something else. And the thing it's going to try is running a curl command. For those who don't know, curl is a tool used to make requests, just like our web browser makes requests to other web browsers. Curl can do the same thing. And what it's doing is it's taking our input and just making a request to whatever that input says we're trying to send it to. So like if we send it the link of an image, https:/google.com/whatever, it will put it in the curl command and then try to go to that website and fetch the data from it. And we can actually see this in action with a little demo. Now, this is something I found when I was exploring online. Requestcatcher.com. If you all go to requestcatcher.com, you can actually set up a custom link that will, well, I'll show you what it'll do. I'll set this up, call it pacifichackers.requestcatcher.com. Hit get started. Now, this this URL, pacifichackers.requestcatcher.com, if we send any requests to it, it will be logged right here. It even has an example curl command right here. If we copy that, go to our command prompt. Oh, someone just sent a GET request. If we go to our command prompt, I'll exit out. Well, that's not an exit. Paste it here. Hit send. So it returns request caught. And nothing comes up. That's weird. Well, that's interesting. What's supposed to happen is there's supposed to be something in the left tab here that says /test. And it should also show the data that we sent to it, the data being hello world. Not sure why it's not working. Has anyone else had success with this? Okay, cool. It's fine if it's not working on my end. If it's working on yours, if you can spin up your own subdomain and try it, feel free. The reason I want to show you is if we go here and we try to put a URL here, in this case, the URL of your request catcher, and then just do some random identifier like hello world, just so you know it's you and not some random person on the internet. Click apply. Got a 200 request back. And over in this tab, there should be something showing up that says hello world. I don't know why it's not showing up on my end, but if you're able to do that, then you know that this server, Be Creative, is sending that request you sent it to the request catcher. Everyone following so far? Perfect. So this is a very common vulnerability called server-side request forgery. It's in general, this is why you should never take untrusted input and just make outgoing web requests on it, because you can actually do some nasty stuff with this. If anyone wants to read up more on it, portswigger.net, the creators of Burp Suite, have a whole article on what server-side request forgery is and how to exploit it, and how it works. If you just go to portswigger.net/web security, web-security/SSRF, you can read up on that in your own time. But basically, how do we exploit this web app using what we know? Before I give you the answer, does anyone have any ideas or suggestions? Right, there might be some sensitive environment variables on the in the Docker container that's running this that we could expose. Now, what kind of request we have the server make that might expose these environment variables? Directory list. Sorry, I need some water. Thank you, Marco. Thank you. A directory listing. Okay, so how might we send a request? How might we tell the server to send a request that will return the directory listing of the Docker container itself? It's fine.
LS somewhere. It's
Yeah.
LS.
Oh, it's fine if you don't know. This is what I'm here to tell you. You can actually, on a Linux machine, you can actually send a request to something called file, a protocol called file. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, by the way, if you want coffee or water, it's in the kitchen, so you're welcome to grab this too.
You can actually, you don't have to send requests out to the open internet. You can send them to localhost, and you can send them on different protocols. Oh, like EC2 metadata?
Yeah, they, like, you can just, guys need the SSH helpful.
Yes, SSH keys. Do you have an idea of what kind of URL we should put into the browser to that?
For this one, I would like to first of all do the wipe out the server. I would like to review the Docker file first and see if they can add it.
Oh, right, good idea. Let's look at the Docker file. Because in the handout they gave us, that included a Docker file. Let's just cat it. We can see it's pulling the Docker container Python Slim. It's running some install scripts, installing Nginx, curl. It's seems to be copying the code into the Docker container and running Nginx. And it's setting an environment variable. That's interesting. It's setting an environment variable to some fake flag set for testing. So what this could indicate is that in the actual Docker container, there's an environment variable set to flag, and by exfiltrating that, we can get it. So I think your hunch was on point. And then it exposes port 80 and runs the web app using Nginx. All right, so let's exploit this. As I was saying before, you can actually make curl requests to local files. If I curl file /home max artist Docker file. Well, it just printed out the exact same thing because I just printed out. If we change that to app.py, it'll print out app.py. So this curl request will actually return the contents of a file. We can do this. You can see this right here. If you go into Artful, you type file / file : / that's 3 to specify the root directory. etc/pass WD and hit apply. If you do that and you go and look at the response, it will give you an image, something that's called image data. It appears to be encoded in base 64. A lot of image data going across the internet is encoded in base 64. This is very common. It's very easy to undo. Just copy everything past the comment here and paste it into your favorite. What did I just do? A moment. Oh, just give it to me raw. Don't take that out of context. Yes, yes. Copy the base 64 and convert it. No, it's not letting me. Okay, well, if it's not working for you like it is working for me, you can actually do this all on the command line. You use curl, specify post request, specify the content to be a JSON object that contains background, set it to your URL, save that for a second, and post it to pacifichackers.com/set background. Go back here and we wanted to do file ://etc/pass WD. Did I do that right? So if it returns a background that's empty, that indicates that it couldn't find the file usually. But anyway, I can skip past this. If you're able to grab the output and decode it, you'll see that it is the actual contents of the etc password file, the Docker container. You confirmed it. Perfect. Maybe. No? Well, that doesn't quite matter. Well, it might matter for the next part because the actual file we want to get, because we want to get the environment variables. And those are what? Yeah.
No, it's what it's doing again from, if you look at request, that's what it's doing again. That should be
On here, it should be doing a post request. Yeah. Okay, well, luckily I have a walk. Yeah, I can copy and paste it. So if I copy that, this should work. Oh, right, I forgot to set the header that says content type to application/JSON. It gets complicated when you try building these requests by yourself. You can use Burp Suite as well for this. It's much easier than using curl. It allows you to build and edit these requests yourself. But anyway, run that and it's still nothing. Oh. No, it seems correct. Oh, because it's flag.txt, that doesn't exist. We want. Yes. Copy that, put it into like CyberChef, whatever. If you're not familiar with CyberChef, it's a very cool tool, online tool. Use it to decode or encode anything. Caesar ciphers, etc. Now look at this. It's the Etsy password list. Of course, this doesn't actually contain passwords. That is in the Etsy shadow list. But anyway, we don't care about the passwords yet. If we could just get the flag. So here's the secret. There's actually a file on the Linux operating system that contains all the current environment variables. Does anyone know the name of that file? env envir, it is called environ. Env is the command to print them all out, but it's not the file name. Yes, cat proc self environ. So the file we're looking for is /proc self environ. I'll check my notes. Yep, that's it. So if you send a request, if we send a request to this server with proper content type, simply asking for file ///proc self environ, and we decode the response, we should get the flag. Oh, let me zoom in. Oh, it's not showing the.
There is the, I copied the exact same.
Oh, on the platform.
Yeah, I copied the exact same.
Okay, well, we can kind of ignore the platform right now because I'm telling you right now that this is the answer.
Okay.
But there might be a bug there, and we can look at that later. Yeah. Yes. /proc self environ. Okay, yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. So we've determined that the flag might be an environment variable through the Docker file itself. So otherwise, you'd have to like guess, like, is it in a file? Is it in, so this was the hint right here. Yeah.
The hint was, oh, after you pulled up Docker file, right? So the Docker directory?
It's the Docker file. In the source code handout here,
Right.
include a Docker file.
And so that was the tip off.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Maybe like some kind of JavaScript injection to the. I guess I'm having trouble following your logic here. Okay. Oh, yeah. From what I understand, it seems like if you host a malicious image, you get it to return on the site. And perform like maybe some cross-site scripting on the site. Yeah. I think you'd have to get through the encoding, the basics for encoding. But yeah, if it didn't return it encoded, then yeah, that would probably be a form of cross-site scripting. So that's basically how you exploit this. It's a server-side request forgery clone. Very fun one. Yeah. Anyone else have any more questions before we move on? All right. So that was one of our that was our newest one. That was our newest web challenge. I can move on to the next web challenge, the dev robots. Unless you all want a little break and hear about cryptography. Maybe. Oh, yeah. I guess it was me asking for it.
We need.
Thank-
You can take a break.
Okay, we'll switch off. Yeah. I'll take a breather. Thank you. You're-
So.
I can do a couple of the crypto ones so you can rest for a second.
Yeah.
And see. Where I use some of those. Yeah. No, yo estoy bien. Perdón, tengo que dejar por tacos. I own that one. You can have for tacos. Awesome. That's what really what is we have a lot here. The first special hack for tacos on that. So. Yeah. Gracias.
Thanks, going into it. Yeah, I don't know. My Twitter is a little bit.
Yo revisé mi máquina rápida. Unless you want. Ahorita estaba viendo y todos los de cripto se pueden resolver técnicamente usando cyberchats. Entonces, no tienen que programar. Yo hice soluciones que eran programación. Me presento, digo, voy a comprar una. I'm gonna get a Mac. It's always worth.
Yeah.
But you're using Linux too, right? Where, which distro?
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Yeah, I'm using Popwell, which is basically off Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Uh,
I should have thought. Oh, no, it's always working.
I always have problem like presenting, like even like in conferences, like.
Is it plugged in right now?
Yeah, it is looking. You feel like people are getting some water.
I can get some water.
Yeah, oh, thank you. That's on my mouse. Thank you. All right. So I'm gonna go over a couple of the crypto ones. Some of them, especially level one, was like super easy. It means to be an introduction to crypto and encodings and stuff like that. So some of the crypto challenges, if you are aware of them, they can be like super hard. You have to be familiar with like cryptography concepts and stuff like that. But even sometimes you require like coding solutions. But in this case, I designed them in a way that you don't require coding solutions. You can use CyberChef if you want. You can do it like any way you want, right? If you want to code in Python, especially right now, we cannot take advantage of the power of AI. You can code very fast, but it's not required. You can use any free websites, every CyberChef, like any other website. So, right, challenge number one. This one is pretty straightforward. Like the whole thing is like a story around like an alien that crashed on a planet, and then it's gonna give you some hints. And most of these challenges or the usual methodology when you do CTFs is like take a lot of attention on the details, right? You will listen to the details, a lot of things, a lot of hints are like hiding the text. So the first one, can somebody recognize, actually, let me do this bigger. Uh, can somebody recognize this string format? Yeah, exactly, right? So that one is like pretty straightforward, right? Like you can just go into a website like this, and you can just reverse that, and you get the flag, right? You can also do it directly from the terminal, from the shell. You can do something like you can do it directly from the terminal, and you get the flag, right? So this is not cryptography. It was intentionally put that way because there is always like I have seen like in real scenarios where people trying to protect password hashes using base 64. And that's exactly what the flag is telling you, right? Base 64 is not encryption, right? So you just go and take your flag and put it here, right? And save it because you will need it like for the next shot, right? So as I was saying, like level 1, pretty easy, it's like an intro. Then level 2, things are getting a little bit more interesting. So this challenge itself, like if you go and read, it gives you a couple of hints. So let me read it with you. So it's navigation data critical for plotting a safe scale route from the planet. However, the integrity of the archive is crucial. Silo suspects that some data may have been corrupted during the impact, which could lead to fatal navigation errors. To ensure both of the integrity and authenticity of the data, Silo begins planning a way to verify each entry in the navigation archive, right? I'm gonna leave it like that. But reading this text and knowing the context that this is a crypto challenge, what comes to your mind? Like there is a couple of important concepts here. One is integrity and authenticity, hashing, right? Like there is a particular technique that is used to verify, right? Like integrity and authenticity between a message shared between two parties, right? So what's that technique called? HMAC, exactly, right? Hashing message authentication code. So if you go and download this file here, I think I already downloaded here. What you get is a file like this, right? It's too small, but basically it has, let me see if I can make it big. Actually, download again. So it has a set of coordinates and hashing, right? Hash. And what the challenge is asking you to do is to verify the integrity of the hash, right? The challenge is give you a couple of hints, such as using the flag from the previous challenge, and that's why is that? Because HMAC usually depends on a shared secret, right? So the shared secret between two parties has to be used to do this. So one way that you can do this is using something like CyberChef. And CyberChef is a very cool tool because it has if you never used CyberChef before, it's kind of like a Swiss Army tools, Swiss knife, and Swiss Army knife. Thank you. It has, for example, HMAC here, right? And HMAC allows you to define everything that we need, like the key, and it has different hashing functions. So let's do a quick test. Like for example, I have coordinate number 1, right? And I know that I have to apply certain cryptographic algorithm or certain scheme to get from coordinate to the hash. So I have my input there, and then I'm gonna use the flag from the previous challenge. The flag from the previous challenge was, I think I have it here. And I can choose the hashing function, right? And you can, this is where you start learning stuff, right? If you are not familiar with this, you can just compare even the size of the length of the fixed length of this string. Is too small in comparison to what we are using here, right? So you can test other ones. Usually the industry use something like SHA. Let's try SHA-256. It's still too small, right? To be like this size. So you can do SHA-512. That looks like about the correct length, right? Now we're not getting the the same hash that we're getting here. Can somebody tell me why is that? Like looking at this screen? Yes, correct. So it's expecting hex, right? So we can change this to all this encoding. I'm gonna show base 64. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna copy my original base 64. And if I copy this, so I see I produce the correct hashing, right? The correct hash. So what the challenge wants you to do is to automate all of this somehow and find which one has been corrupt, right? So the answer, if we go back to the challenge, the answer has to be the coordinate of the corrupted hash, right? So how do you do that? Somebody have some ideas? Like you know how to solve the challenge now, right? Now it's just a matter of how do you automate, right? How can you do it at scale, let's say?
The old days we tried a Python script, these days you push it into ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, so yeah, that's what I want now you to use whatever AI agent that you have and yeah, yeah, exactly. Like now that you know exactly what you have to do, like asking for the right hashing algorithm, like the format of the string, you can go and ask ChatGPT to generate that, right?
So what's your take on people using ChatGPT? I mean, you know, instead of writing a script yourself.
Yeah, so
No, but stuff like this,
Actually.
I mean, you can say, write me Python code like this. No, I'm saying in the spirit of competition, right?
yeah,
Is that good or?
I think AI is just another tool, the same way that we use WordSuite or Metasploit or any other automation tool. If you don't use AI correctly, it may slow you down instead of like make you more efficient, right? So to both of you, to your points, like you need to know what are you asking, right? And you need to have enough knowledge to understand when the AI tool is making mistakes. So for me in particular, my background is software engineering, but I do security for the last 5. So that means I haven't done software engineering professionally for the last 5. But I do a lot of side projects and AI has made me way more productive. But I have that background, right? So I know which questions to ask. So let's do these. Let me try this, right? Because I have a coding solution, I can share it to you. But I'm kind of lazy, so.
Use CyberChat.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let me see if I can make this small. I always forget what's the. I want to make this thing small. Okay, so I think in CyberChef there has to be a way to do it line by line, but I'm not familiar. I'm not sure.
Yeah, just 4.
Fork?
Yeah.
Fork?
I'm not sure. Put that before you rate. split it, you'll run it on each.
Oh, perfect, yeah. So, yeah, let's say we have all these, you know, I apply the rule to all of these ones. I'm gonna create a new,
Hey, thanks, Max. Like, Jill, like, where-
correct. Functions.
I want to see them.
And then I can have a way to basically extract all of these ones and compare against the correct one, right? The one that I use compute. I can kind of do this. Other one. Copy them, right? And then I think I never copy the correct ones. We have 100 ones here. Is that I have an extra one? Okay, so now I have 100 hashes. That was the original one, and 100 of the correct one, right? So I can compare these two files. I think I can do this using diff, right? And I can identify which coordinate belongs to this one, right? Oh, let me see. So is the 64, I think, I believe 64, right? It was 64. Let me see if this is the right one. Yeah, okay. That's one way to solve it without actually doing like the Python code. Like we just leverage a bunch of existing tools like CyberChef. The trick to do this kind of problems is like the approach, right? The methodology. Like once you understand what you are doing, like once you read here and identify the hints and all of that, you get a solution and then you try to automate it, right? And honestly, I wasn't sure this will try because I did my I have a Python solution. I can probably share it with you. So in case, and I support like people that wants to keep coding. I think coding is very important. Actually, this is a bash solution, right? In which, yeah, I read the files and then I parse it. And I wrote this code like a year ago, so I don't understand it anymore. But I could very easily do this again, like with ChatGPT, or I'm using Cursor, which is an IDE that has AI integrated, or you can just keep using like CyberChef, right? Or stuff like this.
On Snapchat, your output,
The first line of output, this one.
yeah. They all just worked it out. My first line of. Trying to identify.
Why is that? Okay. So this is the original one, the original hashes. I get the first hash.
But you can more.
You can see like what I have in CyberChef. I have fork, and then I have the base64 encoded flag of the first challenge, and then I'm selecting SHA-512 of the hashing function. Yeah.
I,
But now you understand like where was the issue, right? Yeah, any more questions for this type of challenges? Yeah, so HMAC means hash messaging authentication code. It's a cryptography technique to authenticate and validate the integrity between a message between two parties, right? So what HMAC do is very much you take a message, you take a secret code shared between two parties, and you apply a hashing function. So you send the message in plain text, and you send the hashing. And then the other party compares, and the other party like get the message and the hashing and perform the same operation, right? And if the hash is the same, it means the message hasn't been tampered and it was signed by the other party. This is very similar to, for example, when you, well, it's not the same, but it's kind of similar idea when you download some ISO file and you get like a checksum and you try to compare it from your side, right? You make sure like whoever produced that, what you get is the same, hasn't been tampered, right? Yeah, I think I have a talk about that. Maybe we can do a positive hackers at some other point. And it's very useful in scenarios like this where you want to make sure that the integrity of the actual message has been preserved, right? Nobody has messed up with that. Yeah, that's HMAC, a high level. Any other question, comments, feedback? You still stuck?
first one.
And you're using the same website, right? The CyberChef hosted on GitHub.
Yes.
Yeah, question? So you might, if I understand the question correctly, like when you use the word encryption, that means the message that is gonna travel over the channel is gonna be secure in a way that like an attacker, an adversary cannot read it, right? In this case, you are sending both the plain text and the hash. So anybody can read it, right? So that will be like one difference. In encryption, there is other algorithm involved, such as like AES or that will be symmetric encryption. There's gonna be asymmetric encryption approaches. This particular case, the problem that you are solving is not privacy of the data because the data is traveling in plain text. What you are trying to solve is integrity and authenticity. So it's two different problems. So in cryptography, there is, depending on the problem that you try to solve, like privacy of the data, integrity, authenticity, availability, is the type of crypto scheme or crypto primitive that you try to apply, right? Like, for example, this is useful when you don't care about like who can potentially read the data, right? You just want to, computing hashes is a very fast operation versus encrypting, right? Encrypting, we have even dedicated chips in our computers to encrypt and decrypt data very fast. But encryption in general is a more cost expensive function versus just verifying like some type of data using a hash. So it's depending on the problem that you want to solve. Yeah, very good question. Yeah. There was another question over here, I think. Yeah. Yes. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the file that I download from the website and I'm extracting the coordinates. Oh yeah, so this is a very useful command, right? Like it's gonna divide like a file by columns. And in this case, like number one is gonna give me the coordinates, number two is gonna give me the hashes, and you can use it to quickly parse a file, right? And then I'm just copying that into my clipboard, and then that's how I'm able to.
So it doesn't work to reverse you actually add it.
Say again?
So you're actually adding the logs first before, and then use the office. So I was doing copying, printing first.
Oh, correct.
And I also forgot the dollars.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you can pass to the off command. You can even pass a file via pipe, or you can. There is a flag to pass on file. But I just did it this way. Yeah. Anybody else has trouble computing the HMAC? Actually, solve it. I know a couple of you solve the challenge using this approach. Yes. All of them were computing using the same share. No, like all of them were compute using the same one. Only the one that was grown, the actual hash was grown, right? Not matching, right? So that's what I did with the diff command here. It told me like which one was the grown one. Cool. So I think we can move to the next crypto, number 3.
This time I think
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, let's take 10 minutes, I guess. People. Yeah, we have plenty of challenges. I don't think we can go over all of them. But thanks. Yeah.
Probably stretch or walk around.
Yeah,
30
I
seconds.
agree.
Okay.
Well, I guess 30
Okay.
seconds I would have on my chair.
So once I saw it, oh,
Yeah, I didn't realize there was so many.
that's a learning point. So,
Yeah, so that's why it's like this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me show you.
So have a-
So, right.
Yeah.
And then I create.
And I passed one on. That's what they just did, and I lost it. But I learned that. Yes. So.
Yeah, and then he, you know, like, hey, what's this, and I thought, so we. This is why I needed it. Like,
I'm not quite.
Yeah, yeah, so it's your background.
Exactly. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those. Yeah. Yeah, but like, so, yeah, what I'm saying is, very well. If it, of course, run up over. So.
Yeah, I don't want to pull that up.
Yes,
In my.
this is much more user friendly. So when you open it, it'll just open it. Just try to just. So first you gotta.
Social engineering.
Actually, it's very reasonable. Yes, so here's the deal. You have an idea.
Once I have what? So, okay, so the issue is, practice directly from it, and then, so, right? So, maybe. Oh, okay. Oh.
Question to anyone here and get an answer.
Oh, and then fix it.
Yeah.
Let's replace the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's setting it up. I'm not sure I sit down there. And then, once that's enabled, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
no, I'm gonna say that's so, no, that's so. Yeah. That's the end of the day. Wait, are you kind
I'm just ready for the.
Oh, that's cool. I look pretty sure. Yeah. I know, like, yeah.
You wanna do the web? Or-
Yeah, we can switch off.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
Straight from the source, man. Yeah. So I.
Oh,
It's like, yeah, it's like investment.
Thank you, thank you.
Such contact. I don't know, I am not a bad. Yeah. Oh, you did? Oh, okay, so you guys. That was your first exposure. And was there a reason why that, force decided to? That's pretty hard to work.
So, hey, when everyone's ready, we can move forward with another walkthrough. I don't want to interrupt anyone, still working on the last challenge, but ready, we can do some more web app. So the last one we did was artists. That was more medium difficulty. This next one, if you're having a hard time reading, I can make it bigger. This next one is the easy one. The dev robots. Intro here, dev robots. We at the dev robots value our security. However, recently it seems that someone was able to bypass our security and gain access to confidential information. Could you maybe demonstrate to us how this was possible? Maybe we misunderstood something. And no uneducated forcing necessary. Please be nice to the infrastructure. Thank you. And this one actually has hints, but we'll try to do it without the hints. Well, I'll be giving you the hints throughout this whole thing. So, all we have here is a link. The dev robots, separated by hyphens, .ctf.pacifichackers.com. Let's check it out. So we've got a nice landing page here. Cool little font. It's got an about page and it has a login. Now this is interesting. Login pages are always interesting because, you know, passwords are a mess. But let's just try some common things. Let's try admin and then a password admin. See if that works. Nope. Admin and maybe password password. No, worth a shot. Okay, well, let's see if there's some more. Let's see if there's some more hints we can look at here. Forefront of robotic innovation, engineers, developers are dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what robots can do to improve everyday life and work. I noticed the word robot is showing up a lot. Robots TXT. Oh, yes, you've got it. Listen, everyone, every website you go to, you always want to check robots.txt. What? So robots.txt, for everyone that doesn't know, it's a file that's on most websites that tells web scrapers like or web indexers like Google, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, what to index and what not to index. Generally, it's to keep things hidden from Google search that you don't want showing up on Google search. Usually, it's respected, and this just tells the robot that for any user agent, don't go to this repository. Don't go to this path. It's saying, hey, everyone, don't go to this path. There's nothing here.
Don't look.
And
Don't-
that's where
There's
you want
nothing
to
to see
look.
here.
Yeah, but it's not a protection mechanism. We can definitely look at here. This should restrict the internet from accessing our Git repo. Okay, they have a Git repo. Let's go there. .git. And in here, we can see a directory listing. This is a typical directory listing for web servers when they're serving files. We've got some interesting stuff. We've got commit edit message, config description, hooks, index. These are all typical of a Git repository if anyone uses GitHub or something like that. It allows you to collaborate on code pretty easily and save your changes in the cloud and such. So we can actually look at their code. That's very helpful. We can look at some of these files here, make website better. We can look at the config. It looks like we've got Cameron, the author, little Easter egg there. Sometimes when you click on a file, it will download it, and that seems to be a binary file. What?
Bigger.
Oh, bigger. Got it. Yeah. Okay, so generally it'll take a while to dig through all of these just to figure out everything. There's like hooks. We're trying to find a flag somewhere in here. There's probably a flag somewhere, or like something that'll let us log in, probably. Some credentials, but it'll take a while to dig through all this. So the Git log? The Git commit log. Yeah, that's a good idea. We should look at the commit logs. How do we look at those? Wait,
Right there.
go to logs. Oh yeah, all right. You're putting your logs. Okay, cool. Just making sure you're paying attention. Okay, let's look at logs. Here we are. Hard coded. So it goes from latest to earliest. So the last commit was initial moves to Git, and then before that we had a formatting fix, removed hard coded credentials. Now this is the interesting one. Hard coded credentials. That means someone put a hard coded password in the code somewhere. which was removed in this commit. So that means that probably the commit very before this one probably contains some hard-coded credentials we could use to log in. So what we want to do is look at the code in this Git repository at this commit. Now, this will be kind of hard to do in the web browser. If you're able to do it, feel free, but I personally do not know. There's well, we can't run Git commands in the browser. What we have to do is take all these files and pull them onto our local machine to play with them first. Luckily, there's a tool for that. Anyone heard of Git Dumper? Basically, it is a Python project. You can find it on GitHub, or you can just run pip install git-dumper. And the way it works is you just, well, let me, I made a simple directory, dev robots. You just run git dumper, and then the URL that you want to, the URL you want to download the Git stuff off of, HTTPS dev robots. Yep,
Is it by Ollie Hacker?
Ollie Hacker. I found ArtPod.
Okay, so, yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, find the right one.
Right.
Sorry, so go back to the art.
Yes. You know what? I'm just going to take this link and paste it in the Discord server because that's what it's for. Yes. So you can install it by cloning the directory and doing your own thing, or you can run a pip install. If any of you are familiar with Python, this is a simple Python package. If anyone doesn't know how to install a Python package, then I can help you later, or maybe your fellow hackers can help you. But that's out of scope for this walkthrough. Give everyone a quick minute. Basically, once you have it installed, you just run it on the command line with the URL that you want. Oh, right. And then the name of the directory you want to put it in. I just use the current directory or dot.
So to download the folder of Kelly,
Get done. Oh,
I'm like totally brain dead right now.
okay. Let's yeah.
I think it's get, right? But get, get.
Yeah.
Oh, you just need a file.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to get the file that dumper stuff.
Yeah, if you just hold the file. I mean, look, if you want, if you don't have pip installed, you can install it pretty easily. Assuming you're on Kali Linux, run sudo apt-get install. Well, you'll have to actually sudo apt-get update first. Double and sudo apt-get install Python 3 -pip. Get all that?
Twice.
Yes.
Wait, so you're environment to run this?
Me personally, I'm just running it on my base, on my hardware, since I'm running Linux on my hardware, but this will work on Kali Linux.
To run it? So you see-
Oh,
Oh, so it doesn't matter. or
yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah. Yeah. When you run this command, it should update your repositories. And this will take a minute. Yeah, it looks like everyone needs a minute to install Git dumper, so we'll take that. Yeah. And then, once it reads all the dependency lists, it will try to install Python 3 and Python 3 pip. Nothing happened for me since I already have those two installed, but run it should install.
So that is, we want to run it. Or is that too soon? Example, the GitHub website.
Yes, we're doing this so we can pull all of the Git files from this website onto our local computer to make it easier to work with. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So generally, like I said before, run git dumper on the URL. We did that. It downloaded, in this case, it said it already downloaded all these files. And these are specific files. We've got Git objects with specific hashes, and all of this is related to the implementation of Git, which we don't need to worry about at all. All we need to know is we can look at all this stuff locally. And more importantly, if you have the git command installed, which you can also get with sudo apt git install git, which I have. If we just run git status on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean. If we run git log, we get the log that we found in the log file. At the top here, we have the first commit, which it also indicates is at head. Head is the latest commit for a specific branch. And the one we want is we want to go back to the commit before the hard-coded credentials were removed. So this one right here. How do we do that? There's multiple ways to do that. You can move your head all the way back down there. I will do something a little bit simpler. I'll run a git command called git diff. And this, yes, I'll show you in a minute. Yes, we'll get the file changes between our current commit and this one before the hard-coded credentials. If you copy paste that whole hash link, yes. It's between our current commit, the one at the very top, and the one I'm showing. Yes. And you can specify two commits to show specifically. You can actually do that. But anyway, yes, just run this, and we can see each of the files that were changed. Here we have www/about.php. It seems they've added some, Cameron has added some links here in the HTML. We don't care about that. Added some extra mumbo jumbo. We don't care about that. No hard-coded credentials. Keep scrolling. Aha! Look at that. In this commit, password was changed from very complex password to that MD5 hash. So, shall we give it a shot?
Second.
Oh, we're going to use the first one. Not as a flag. Yeah. So, just to be clear, the text in red is the stuff that was removed, and the text in green is the stuff that was added. Yes, we'll copy this, and we know the username is admin. So if we go back to the website, and zoom out. Yep. Copy the password, and the username, and we're in.
Does it say SEO is not security?
Yes. SEO is not security.
Search engine optimization? As in
Yep.
what?
Well, that's not that.
Oh. Got it.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I'm right here.
Because you don't need to type the whole number, right? Just 10 digits.
Yeah, it's usually like the first 8, 10 digits. That actually was the source of another vulnerability in GitHub recently. The fact that you don't need the full commit hash in a URL to refer to code on GitHub. You just need the first 8 or so. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, made it easy to find code that was supposed to be private. Yeah. So I ran. Did you install it using?
It starts somewhere there, that's why.
Okay.
But I don't need it because, as you can see, we just download the file directly. Folder directly to our local, and then just run the git command to find the git folder.
Yes, well, you need all the Git files, or most of them, in order to view the Git log history. So that's the point of Git dumper. It enumerates through the hosted Git directory and grabs all of these files. It grabs the head, the config, the description. It grabs all of the objects, which are hashed and obscured, and frankly, I have no idea how to sift through.
But all your is called like git number, the website itself. So inside you also have to include .git and blah 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 website. Is that right? Or are you just running it one time?
I'm just running it one time. Oh,
In this.
yeah. Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah, sure. So the point of this challenge was to basically teach some basics when it comes to breaking and hacking web applications. First and foremost, always check robots.txt. There's usually some information in there that people want to hide. Check to see if there's a .git folder under the main, because that is a gold mine of information. Those are just two tips. Try random credentials like admin and password. I could give people a minute to finish going through it if you'd like, or. Yeah,
Because I think I'm just running.
I took the notes.
yeah, so Tessa, run.
I guess I could do reinstall that mod. But I'm pretty sure there's gonna be other minutes stuff that I need. Right now.
Yeah,
I
so-
think on,
Yeah.
requirement, so I can just hit install, request, whatever.
Yeah, there might be some extra requirements you need. Yes, so first and foremost, have you run sudo apt-get update?
No, because. It's not results.
Is there an issue?
Good.
Okay,
I just.
install, you have Python free. Hit, okay,
I'll also speak about it. Cool, I mean, 1 hour shift is the key. Yeah, totally. I'll finish this up and then we'll.
there's a missing Python mod. Oh, no, don't run git comfort up. Run a free. Git free. install.
Yeah, like, yeah.
See, the virtual environment, so was it, what was the, okay, is it HTTP? And that server? I can read. What, give it a proper name, give me Rob's Box. I want a proper. I know it's temporary, but I just, give it a proper. So now it's the virtual environment, now, source.
So robot/bin/.
Can I just make sure that I didn't write? Oh, there it is, okay, so, let's do that, so. Sorry, robot, source. Oh, and then it's there.
Yes.
People say,
Oh, I will. Yes, I will.
Oh, the code was that. I didn't reduce it. I had to look by it.
So I like, either that is so.
Yeah.
And then now I have to say.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And then this
So,
way I asked you.
forget about that.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And then something's out.
We just like.
And I get. Why are you missing this? You're just. 100 things, I'm like.
Yeah, that was because you downloaded the direct. So the process is different.
So if I didn't do that, what's? The browser?
You have to follow the instructions.
Let's kind of like.
Yeah, hit reinstall.
You need to keep going.
Yeah, you got it.
Sorry, thanks.
Problem.
Fly, right? Thanks, I. See, and the
So, want to say we're probably going to wrap up this walkthrough and move over to Levski again. He's going to talk about a little bit about our infrastructure and how we set up the CTF and plans going forward. So, does anyone have any more questions about this challenge before we continue? Cool. Come to me if you have any questions getting the stuff installed or figured out. Thanks, everyone.
Nice.
All right, Alepsky said, so, as I mentioned earlier, I gave you a little history of DCTF, right? This, prior to January of last year, we did not have a CTF. It was provided by someone else. Go ahead. It was provided by someone else and they were letting us use their platform and stuff, but I think it was time to create our own. So, you know, I asked my team to create something and I gave them a 11-month period, but then Hacktivate happened and we said, well, guess what, guys? You don't have 11 months, you have, you know, 2 months to deliver this, and they did. As we've been growing, we're having different events and getting different feedback and stuff. We've been implementing new challenges and stuff like the social engineering ones. That one actually was very happened during the conference, and I feel I never seen this social engineering challenge anywhere else, not even at DEF CON. Even though they have their social engineering village, they didn't have this challenge where, like, literally they have to go through a lot of hoops to eventually have to call someone and actually, you know, and that was part of the challenge. And that was, like I said, something that, like, you know, never done it before. So anyways, long story short, my team cannot do it by themselves. And we're always looking for help. And just like I mentioned earlier about speaking, well, you don't want to speak, but you feel you should contribute for the CTF. We are also open for you to create some challenges, right? So if you would like to be featured in our CTF, and again, we're doing this also in other places outside of the US. So if you wanna see your name as featured as part of a contributor for the Pacific Actor CTF, please let us know, and we'll be more than happy to put your challenges there and yeah, make this grow. And eventually, if you're looking for a job, you can always put that you're a volunteer, a CTF volunteer. And again, that's another way, you know, you can tell, you know, potential employers that you're engaged with the community. In the last few months, I've been speaking with different hiring managers. And one of the things that they want is people who are not just smart, they can do the job, knowledgeable about the technologies and stuff, so they can give back to the community. And this is a way to get back to the community, you know, whether you're speaking, whether you're contributing CTFs, playing CTF, or also helping others, just like today, Max is showing people how to do it. Well, again, maybe that could be also a talk, right? Walk through to a different CTF that you know, and tell people how you did it, but, you know, giving back to the community. So anyway, just some thoughts. And again, thank you, Max, Alevsky, and the whole CTF team for coming up with this. This is great. And so Alexi is going to actually talk instead of giving an actual walkthrough. He's actually, well, a walkthrough of a challenge. He's going to do a walkthrough of the platform so you can see how it's created and tell you more a little bit about the background and everything running underneath. And then we can continue with Max providing more walkthroughs. And we'll stay here until you guys want, okay? So we're not gonna kick anybody out and until you literally say, you know, I'm done. That's it. I have other things to do, or I'm hungry, or whatever the case is. So we're probably, if we don't finish here by 5, we're probably gonna call it by 5. So I'll let Max decide if 5 is okay or if he wants to do it before that. But anyways, so let's go ahead.
So yeah, I'm gonna be kind of brief. I wanna talk to you about the CTF itself. Marco already gave you the story. I'm gonna talk to you about the technical part, and also invite you, as Marco said, like all of this is run by volunteers, and we are looking for people. We are looking for people to contribute, making new challenges, right? Helping us to manage the infrastructure for several reasons, right? One is if you are in the market looking for a job, you need to get some experience. Other challenges run in the cloud, so it's a great opportunity for you to manage real production infrastructure. I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the details of that in a second, but yeah, it's a great chance for you to work with a team of volunteers. We are all volunteers, but we also have our full-time jobs, so we need your help, and it's a great opportunity, right? So moving on, talking about the challenges, we have a lot of challenges. All of them First of all, we are using a platform called CTFD, which is very popular for hosting a CTF. Somebody mentioned at the beginning, there is two ways to run the platform. One is a cloud service that they provide. The other is a self-hosted service. We're doing the second one, and we're running on Kubernetes. What is Kubernetes? Is a, oops, in my screen here, yeah. So Kubernetes is a tool for creating orchestration of containers. So all our challenges are, the computer is kind of freezing, but don't worry. All the challenges run in a Docker container or in a container in general. So that it's a very useful skill for you to have. And what we ask is, once you have a great idea of a challenge that you want to create, to implement, you can come to us. We're gonna help you to Dockerize the challenge, to onboard it into the platform. We already have some templates of how you can do that. We have put a lot of time and effort to make the experience as smooth as possible. Just to give you an example, this is our repository in which every folder is a different category. And people do, like, for example, I have my crypto challenges here. Mac has his web challenges. Here, there is exploitation challenges. And we have some examples, some challenge examples, right? So you have your Docker file. So similar of how he will be like exploiting the application, showing the Docker file, you can learn how to use this technology, right? And that's good because I believe it's better for you to learn how to build stuff before how to destroy them. So it's some good experience. But we basically came up with this framework in which you, or actually Mac came with this framework, right? In which you just define all the requirements, all the parameters, and this is gonna be automatically build containers and YAMLs and configuration files, and it's gonna be creating all the challenges in CTFD. Right? Yeah, this is private. We have been our own development, but CTFD is public. We build kind of like a framework on top of that with Python and other scripts that automatically deploy. Let me go to CTF Hubs, deploy all the services in a Kubernetes cluster, right? And the idea was that our goal was to everything started because of Marcos said, like we have to do the hack the bay, but we want to come with a solution that allows to, if Marcos say we need a CTF tomorrow, we can use like push a button and we have a CTF up and running, right? We're working on that. It's pretty much automated. There is some things that we have to improve. And if you're interested in learning Kubernetes, cloud, how to code challenges, how to think solutions, it's a great opportunity, right? How does the CTF looks like in Kubernetes, right? So this is a Kubernetes cluster of 3 nodes. It's running on DigitalOcean, but it can be run potentially on any other cloud that's for Kubernetes. We have a bunch of the challenges looks like this. They are just like containers, pods running there, and every time you try to attack your challenges, you're going to be attacking things, right? So when somebody was fuzzing the website a couple of like 2 hours ago, what we were really looking is something like this, right? Like all the requests coming here. So that's how I know like somebody was like sending a lot of requests. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. But yeah, the point is like this is like a local IP. I think there is like a load balancer on top, and I think this is the IP of a node. Let me see. But like the point is like if you get involved on managing infrastructure like this, is a great skill for you to have, right? And we have a need for people to do that, right? Like right now is Max and myself, the ones kind of like running these things. So it will be great to have some help. So there you have it. Like you have multiple options. If you are interested on cloud infrastructure or you are interested on writing challenges, please reach out to us, reach out to Marco. We have the Discord link, we have a Slack. We have the website, and we will be very happy to have you as volunteers as well. Yeah, any question regarding? Oh, the Discord. Yeah, this is the link. Oh, my handle. My. Oh, yeah. Aleps, ALE, V as in Victor, SK. V as in. Yeah, this guy here. We are also trying to bring more conversations into Discord. I think right now we're also looking like for people that want to start like sharing like interesting news, like start conversations there. Honestly, it's you drive your the work that you want to do as volunteer, right? You have a great idea of how to use agents for social media or stuff like that. That's a good project that you can experiment. So you reach out to us with an interesting idea that you want to contribute, and we can make it happen. Oh, yes. So far we have, let me go back here. We have crypto, we have exploitation, reverse engineering, socials, web, wireless. I would love to have some hardware related ones as well.
Yeah, you won't be limited by the categories there.
Yeah.
You have something new you want to bring to the CTF.
Good plan to promote this one too.
Oh, yes.
So we also, especially the new people, this is the pair that you saw, this is an actual badge. And you can read it in our website, you go to ctfhackers.org, we have a badge, but this is also a CTF badge that, for a way for, to contribute to us, we create a all year round badge where every time we have events, we're gonna be changing these, questions and answers basically. And also the whole point, in order to line up all these, you need to meet other people, right? So that's a way for us to have those metrics. How many people are you meeting in every event, right? So it resets well, you have to manually reset it, but that's the whole purpose. Reset it so you can communicate with new people. And with the CTF, it has 3 challenges: the ball, the glasses, the headphones, and again, once you solve everything, then everything's gonna be light up. So we don't have obviously right now for purchase, but again, if you're interested in this is another way of doing it. So if you're looking to create challenges for the badge, that also this is how it actually works. Hack the badge, yes.
Okay, not the badge.
You know what, Nelson lights up, right?
Yes.
So when you have another member.
Yeah, right now this one doesn't have battery, so. Wait, what? Have yours? Okay.
I actually did, because like 3 times I didn't bring my, I couldn't do it. And I
Yeah.
forgot my flag.
And usually, with their purpose, right? But once you solve these challenges here, you can those challenges are here as well. I'm actually showing them, and those have a higher value. So let's say that you don't have a badge, and you have everything else, and someone else has a badge. Well, that person more likely is going to win because they have the badge. They have higher points. Anyways, that's since you were, there was going to be the category of badges. Like, what are you talking about? That's what I'm talking about. Our badge.
Yeah, all right. I think that's all I have. you, unless there is additional questions. Like technical questions about the CTF or stuff like that, infrastructure, I can answer, but otherwise. um,
CTF environment. And this environment, find a lot of purpose.
you mean like to run CTFD on a different environment? You can install CTFD as a regular application on Linux. Yeah, so like, let me show you, like CTFD.
Yeah, I think that you have that.
So CTFD needs,
They want to promote their business. They have just enough to get it started in the group.
yeah, so CTFD requires like the platform, obviously, it requires a database like MariaDB, MySQL, and Redis for the sessions. So you can install those three services the way you want, like in a single host, like using apt get install MySQL, whatever. You can run the three containers in your own machine. You can run them on the cloud, or like something like Cloud Run, or like any other like serverless provider, or you can run it in Kubernetes the way we did it, right? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if they have a Helm chart. Yeah, like the way we did it, honestly, was CTFD. Yeah, we have CTFD here. We have, and we're using a thing called Customize. That, yeah, Customize and MariaDB and Redis. That's like the platform itself. Every challenge is also its own deployment YAML. We're using a CERT manager to generate all the certificates. We're using Nginx Ingrex for the load balancer. We have overlays like to create different environments. So yeah, it's a pretty standard kind of like Kubernetes deployment method. But we did explore different alternatives to CTFD. Like, tell Marco, we start yet.
Yeah, I just want to say I give more background on how we automatically import all our challenges in both. Because that was the feature. I don't believe we paid for any.
No, the only thing we pay was for a team, right? Which is this team, because they sell it and yeah. In the open source version, the community version, I don't think there is a way for you to load teams. What you have to do is you create a new container, and in that new container, you just copy your team and you rebuild the container with CTFD and the new files, and that's it. Right? But in their cloud offering, they did add that functionality for you.
Also, do they have webhooks in the? That was one thing I needed, so I have to go to the post.
That's a good question. I don't.
What I did was when people signed up here, I would create accounts in my company's product because we were using them both. So you would sign in one place and the webhooks would create accounts in the other platform. So that was a nice feature there. And only the hosted one. So they keep wanting to push you to the hosted service. But you guys have done a great job with this one.
Yeah. We're youth volunteers. We operate over like zero budget. So. Yeah. But yeah. At some point, like we thought about like creating our own platform, but because there was a hard deadline, we went with CTFD as a platform, and we self-hosted, and we built this framework on top of that. Right, Mark, you want to talk more about the?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, briefly say, yeah, we tried some other alternatives, like CTF, I believe, was a Google developed CTF platform that's built around Kubernetes. It was pretty cool, but I mean, you know so much about Kubernetes, we might as well just build it ourselves. In terms of the bulk uploading the CTF challenges, what we basically did was CTFD has an import and export format for their databases. It's all in JSON files. So I basically wrote a custom script to convert YAML configurations to those JSON fields. And that's only one way, it's not vice versa. Because basically, if you modify those JSON fields manually, you can change any part of the any part of CTFD. Just, you know, it'd be cool if they had a real-time API and yeah. Anyway, I know you asked, one of you asked if it was open source. I kind of kept this project private because, of course, we don't want to give away flags, but if people are interested, I could like probably put a script in a public repo or something.
Yeah, mine is a flag.
Yeah, mine is a flag.
There's another platform called Meta CTF, but it's paid, but they do offer free, every month they do a free CTF. So if any of you are interested in participating in CTFs, it's a really nice CTF. And the challenges are pretty good actually. Some of them are go really deep. So there's always some super easy ones, some mid-tier, and there are some really for which you'll need tools like Hydra and so on. So you can just go to Meta CTF and sign up. Every month they offer one, so it's really good. They just did one, I think, maybe 3-4 days ago. So the next one will be. And I think Chainguard does sponsor some of them, and there are some others.
You know, like, it's me, going to CTF on January 27th and February 27th. And gonna run from 9 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Eastern. And we're trying to come up with here because but it's online. Here. Also, there's some challenges. We end up doing it here. It's just basically, we're not gonna revise any it's from, right? From a team. And someone will be applying some of it here. We're not gonna it's from all have a presence in the area. That's very. Oh, that
Yeah.
now.
All right, I think if there's no more questions, I can start. What else? What's next, Marco? Or that one? Do you want to do the last one? I have to drop.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Les. I think now we've gone through a couple walkthroughs, a couple challenges. I could do like one more to finish it out, or I could go back through the artists and dev robots and the 2 crypto challenges again, if people are still working on those or want a refresher. Ultimately, I want to use this time for everyone here because I feel like we've covered a lot of content. So if you want more of that, we've got more. But if you just want to chill and talk about the stuff that we just went over, then that's cool too.
So the base one in the web, so I'm guessing that it's the data of the key, but I couldn't figure out how to get a key. So maybe you want to do that one?
Yeah, I'm also that. Yeah.
Yes, I was
Actually, the role of the DWP doing that right now.
perfect. You know, I was kind of afraid you would ask about it because I don't have a complete walkthrough on that one yet. But
All you need is the key to sign the token.
yeah, key to sign the token.
Look at the headers, levels, and everything there.
Yeah.
Right. But there's only one though, right?
Oh. Okay, all right, let's.
Sign it twice, get two keys, and then it's RS-256, right? So
Okay, cool. Let's go over base then. Let's go over it. So I know the general gist of the program, how it works. Well, when you go to the website, this is what you'll see. It's a very simple display here. They apparently have revolutionary cryptographic technology that we're going to break. You can log in, you can register, but before we do that, I'm going to, of course, check robots.txt. There's nothing there. We're going to register, just Pacific Hackers, and then just password as password. And we're in. So the way this works is there's nothing we can really do here except go to some kind of beta sign up. But only those who are a tester role can access the beta, and we're only a user role. By clicking on that, of course, we can confirm. So it's clear that we need to give, the first step here is to give ourselves the tester role of some sort. And in order to do that, we're going to have to exploit the authentication measures. So open up good old DevTools, F12, and here. Now, here we're not going to look at the network. We're going to go to a different tab. In Firefox, it's called Storage. In Chrome, it might be called Cookies or something else. But when you go here, this is where there's a lot of data being stored. There's cache storage, there's cookies, there's local storage. These are all things that your web browser stores locally and passes in between the website and the web browser. I'm sure you've heard of cookies before. They're commonly used to track your activity online. But really, they're just a piece of data that your web browser holds on to. It's nothing too special. In this particular instance, there are two cookies on the site. There's one called JWT and one called one called JWT and one called session. Now, we passed over Flasked. That was a challenge right before this one, which had a very similar process. It required you to log in and change your role from user to admin by breaking a token that looked just like this. A session token started with EY and had two dots in the middle, etc. These are what's known as JSON web tokens. They have a standardized format, and they're meant to store data with some cryptographic protections. You can actually decode these, or at least the public data within them, assuming they're not encrypted, with an online JSON web decoder. If you go to jwt.io, it's a free JSON web decoder. It lets you decode and build web tokens. You paste your token here, and it'll break it down for you. There's the header, the part outlined in red. It contains some JSON text. In this one, it's showing us that this session token just tells us if we're logged in or not. Not very special. There's the payload down here, which has some garbage data. I'm not entirely sure. It could be anything. Not sure what it's used for here. And down on the bottom is the signature. the signature that's used to verify the data. Now, this is why we can't just go and, the session token isn't a good example. Let me grab the JWT because this has more data and it's actually what we're after. And this actually has useful data. The data has our username, our role, and the expiration date. That's the expiration date of this token itself. And the header, instead of having random, having a logged in value, it actually tells us what type of token this is. It has some metadata. JWT stands for JSON Web Token, and the algorithm, the encryption algorithm it appears to use is RS-256. Unfortunately, I don't know very much about that. Some of you might know more about that. But getting back to the verification signature, this is what is used to secure the JWT. Because if the signature wasn't there, then we can just change our role to whatever we want. Tester or something, admin. And then we just put that in our cookie value, pass it to the server, and it'll say, oh, well, let you in. Must be an admin. But that's not the case. You notice on the left here, the JWT disappeared. This is because the signature in our value didn't match the data when we changed it. The signature is supposed to verify the data that we put in. I'll bring it back. This signature verifies that we are who we say we are, and we cannot impersonate. We can't change this data at all unless we regenerate a new signature. How is a signature generated? It is generated using a private key. Here down in the verify signature, it breaks it down for us. We have, for those who are familiar, this is going to get into a little bit of cryptography knowledge. But the general process of public and private key encryption is, well, it involves a public and private key. And the idea behind it is that it's supposed to be used for untrusted communication across the internet. How people usually describe it is two users, Alice and Bob, are trying to communicate with each other, but they don't want their communication to be snooped on by Eve, an eavesdropper. So usually in the past, what Alice and Bob would do is they get together beforehand to decide on like a password, and they use that password to encrypt their message and send it across. But let's say Alice and Bob are in two different countries and don't have a secure line to talk to each other, except the internet. This is where the ingenious part comes in. Alice can generate a public and a private key. She keeps the private key private, but releases the public key to everyone, including Bob. Now, what Bob does is if he wants to send a message to Alice, then he uses her public key to encrypt a message. And once that message is encrypted, no one can decrypt it except the person with the private key. It's a one-way street. Public key encrypts, private key decrypts. And it can actually go the other way too. In this case, if you encrypt something with the private key, it has to be verified with the public key. What this really means is if you encrypt something with a private key, then everyone knows that that private key itself was encrypted. You can't what I'm trying to say is it's a little bit complicated.
Pretty good.
PGP, pretty good privacy, exactly. Yeah, PGP works that way. It uses public and private keys. Basically, the public key is used to say, hey, I got this random message from someone. I want to know who it's from. So I'm gonna try Jared's public key. I try it on the message. Oh, that doesn't verify. That must not be from Jared. I'll try George's public key. Try it. It doesn't work. Okay, I'll try Alice's public key. Try it on the message, and it verifies. So then I know Alice's public key plus the message equals a proof that it was created with Alice's private key. All this is to say is that this JWT works the same way. In order to prove that we made this JWT, in order to prove that a certain private key made this JWT, we need to create the verify signature. I'm not entirely sure how much of that you understood. I apologize for my weird explanation, but yes, that's generally the purpose of JSON web tokens. And this is kind of where my knowledge breaks apart, because we know the algorithm we're using is RS-256. Could look this up. No, not the Samsung. Giving me the difference between RS and HS. Looks like it. Both choices refer to what algorithm the identity provider uses to sign a JWT. It's a cryptographic operation that generates a signature of the recipient of a token and ensure the token has not been tampered with. RS-256 is an RSA signature with a SHA-256 okay, that tells us a little bit. RSA is a very common algorithm used for public and private key encryption.
What's the after all stuff? So probably just like the regular DWT where we can do the curl and call it and then do some optimization error. We can do that to solve this kind of what's the like I guess moving forward, what's this
What's the goal?
goal, right?
Right. Thank you for bringing me back. The goal is to get access to the beta. This is what we're trying to do. And we can't get access to the beta until we have the tester role. And in order to get the tester role, we need to tamper with or modify this JSON web token somehow. And the only way to tamper or modify the JSON web token is if we have a private key, as far as I know. So oh yeah. That's true, because in decoding, it probably does not enforce a specific algorithm to use. We can use a different algorithm that maybe is less secure.
Oh, just clear it.
Yeah, there's no problem.
None, that's right.
Right, right.
Damn those people.
Well, so that means that it is validating that it's signed with RS-256. Or something. But even then you mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually specify the key in the JSON.
But isn't ours the less like, are you saying it's just that we use the basic components?
I mean, that's
Because
not how-
isn't there a limitation? What you said none can't use, just.
Yeah, there's one called HS.
HS.
Here.
This is HMAC with SHA-256. Remember when we talked about HMAC before? Right. but it's very different from asymmetric encryption. It is hashing,
Oh, because of symmetric.
symmetric.
Just a symmetric, we should use symmetric encryption in replacement. Okay.
Yes,
So that is different.
exactly. It says right here, the same key is used to sign the signature and to validate it. So if we can find if we can get the public, if we can get the public key of this signature, then we can probably change the algorithm to HS256 and use the public key to generate a signature. If we do that, the website may mistake our public key signature for a private key signature if we change the algorithm. Yes.
This is another signature.
Yeah, because currently we don't have the problem.
We don't have the. Okay, but if you scroll up to the top where you have the drop down, it says on the 56.
Yeah, because ours is 256.
Right.
But we want
But-
to.
So generally, I think this is happening because it's trying to go from the right to left, but we pasted something into the left and start decoding with the right.
Because when you switch it to the HS256, it provides you with one that's already signed, that you didn't switch.
Oh, I see what you're saying here.
So now you can take your user, switch it to that's it. And you have your user.
Let's give that a shot. Very clever.
But is that, so it's not changing the
You're changing the algorithm.
algorithm?
We are telling the server that we are using HS256 instead of RS256. And the server says, oh, my bad. I thought it was RS256, but it was actually HS256. Okay, give me that key. And then we give it the public key, and it uses its public key to decode that instead of the private key, which we don't have access to.
You asked me, so how, but there's no API flow for this, right? It's very simple. So
Sorry, where was I? Yeah. So actually, when we let's look at the network here. When we click go to beta, then it makes a GET request to the beta page. So, and in the request cookies, including the JWT, are sent to the server. So in this request, the server is trying to validate our JWT. Does that make sense, or?
yeah, but then unless it's properly signed, the server's not going to.
Right. So let's see if our newly invented token converted from RS256 to HS256 is accepted by the server.
RS, HS.
No, what is
Oh.
the secret key?
I do not know.
Goes with an null secret? I mean, a null key?
No, because we're using the public key that was generated.
Oh,
It's
your
the same as-
256.
Yeah, we're trying to make it
Uh,
symmetrical.
No, but
Yeah.
your key is basically the phrase your 256 secret key.
Yes.
If that works, that'd be amazing, but.
This is yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah, I don't think that's our secret. I think we need to get our actual public key from the original JWT.
Because can you take the public key from the SSL side of the website? Do you think it might be forced with that one? You sign it with that?
Well,
one?
I think this is different from SSL.
No, I'm just saying that you take the, I mean, you're saying one option is reverse the order, right? You sign it with the public key instead of the private key.
Yeah,
Maybe the this will work with the public key of the website, because that is
Yes.
public.
Yes, yes.
No,
exactly.
no,
And then
no.
we changed the- make it metric. So that's what you're.
No, no, you're gonna still
So
keep
let's
it
do it
asymmetric.
right now, so we can put it inside that context.
How do we know?
Are we certain that the public key for the website is the
No,
same
it,
as?
it may not be, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good guess. We can try that. Which tool? Perfect, yes.
So wait, did you do a Perl command in that?
Let's just look up algorithm confusion attack. Is this the article you're looking at? All right, cool. Perfect. portswigger.net/web-security/WT/algorithm-confusion. This is an algorithm confusion attack.
So the vulnerability here is that the developer is not checking that the role is available to that user. That's what you're.
No, the
exploiting.
developer is checking that the role is available to the username. But it's not checking.
No, see, if the person hasn't really signed up to be a beta tester, they will not be marked as being available to use that role. So that's what you're exploiting here. The fact that this user is not really a tester.
The server side isn't validating the specific elements.
No, let's say that you fool this thing. The real reason is that the application is not checking that this user, whatever that username, so you're registering as a user. You're not registering as a beta tester. They are not validating that you are not really a tester. So that's the defect in the application.
Or it's. No, I was gonna say, no, I think what we're trying to get here is that the key itself, like, it's not. Filtering the key that we can use. So if you said that we can only use RS, blah, 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 then somebody that uses symmetrical cannot pass through.
No,
So
but in
that's
your
the
case,
big
you are
issue
using
that
the
we're
same
trying to
algorithm.
do.
They're not changing the algorithm. Oh, you are changing the
Yeah,
algorithm.
that's what we're trying to do. So that was the issue. It's not limiting us from, you know what I mean, like modifying.
So
it.
did you try with RS as well? Because RS can also use the.
No, you need to, ours is,
But always-
Yeah, it's RSA, so
it's a symmetric.
No, it can actually be used symmetric also.
RSA.
Yeah, it's not, well, RS 256 in the context of JWT, you can use the shared secret also. It kind of works both ways,
What is that?
because it doesn't matter to it, right? It's basically the same key exists on both
Are you
sides, so,
saying?
yeah, it could be the same.
Okay, so how do we do that?
It's all the same.
Okay, let's go back and do like.
Yes.
Get the payload.
So,
Public.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much for your finding. This is the exact article that I wanted to show because it shows this exact type of attack that we are trying to perform. An algorithm confusion attack. To briefly summarize here, well, I basically said it before. JWTs can be signed using a variety of different algorithms. HS256 is symmetric. The server uses a single key to both sign and verify the token, just like a password. RS256 uses different keys. Algorithm confusion arises due to a flawed implementation. So generally, problems arise when website developers who use this method assume it will exclusively handle JWTs signed with an asymmetric algorithm. They may always pass a fixed public key to this method. And if we get that public key, it should verify against the symmetric algorithm. The library's generic verify method will treat the public key as an HMAC secret. So attacker could sign a token using HS256 and the public key, and the server will use the same public key to verify the signature. so let's reiteration, let's do it. So sometimes they're published publicly here in jwks.json or / well-known jwks.json. I just want to show you what happens when I go here because Cameron thought of this. Currently removed due to security incident. So we can't just get the public key like this. We need a different approach. Even if it isn't exposed publicly, we may be able to extract it from a pair of existing JSON web tokens. Yeah, this is probably some form of cryptographic. Yes. Simplified version of this tool. Well, that's very nice. So this is so we don't have to go into the implementation, the cryptographic implementation to pull the public key. Luckily, we can just use Docker. Docker is for those who don't know, Docker is a very nice compartmentalized application running tool, basically. We use it in Kubernetes to run all of these challenges. In fact, this website in and of itself is running inside a Docker container. So now you might not have Docker on Kali Linux. But you can install it pretty easily. I'll just try running this. This is a Docker command, it's Docker run, which means what happens when I run Docker run, it will spin up a Docker container, which is like a very, very light virtual machine. And this specific Docker container is built for the specific purpose of extracting public key signatures. It will spin up this virtual machine and run a program in the context of the virtual machine with all the libraries it needs and everything, and it will produce a result. So we don't need to download a script. We don't need to install anything. It's super easy to use. Yeah.
Swigger's offering us that.
Yes. Portswigger is hosting this container, which has a script. Yes, so we just need 2 tokens. So all we need is Docker and 2 tokens. Getting Docker is probably going to be a process. I'm going to glaze over that real quick. Yes, exactly. We'll just grab that JWT. Go here. Yep. And then we need a second JWT, but as Sean mentioned, we can just create another user and sign in again. So let me do that. I'm going to log out, register. You're right. It's probably just, yeah. Yeah, and that makes sense. Each time you log in, a new JWT is issued. Or it should be if they're doing encryption right. Okay, so we have the first token. We have the second token. And just double checking, these are 2 different strings. Hit enter. And, and I don't have Docker. Okay, so now I have to go through this process too. Oh, perfect, thanks, yeah. That'll be easier than installing Docker.
Oh,
Perfect.
General, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We're near the airport. All right, so we clone the repository, git clone. We go into the repository.
Oh, you just want to get the answer. Oh. Sorry.
Yeah. Tessa, you might want to do this in your Python virtual environment. Yes. Now, once you have it cloned and you've moved into the JWT key recovery directory, run pip3 install -r requirements.txt. This should install the dependencies you need for the script we need to run. And when that's done, the instructions to us. No, for this one, we're not using Docker. We're doing it the long way, where we install all the dependencies and. Yes, exactly. So we're just going to do the exact same thing we did, except instead of doing it in a Docker container, we do it using this script. Then you look. Is that all? Is that the two? Okay, thank you. Recovering public key for algorithm RS-256. Yeah, that's all good.
And I guess technically, we could just, modify the key section on our Python to run this. To get the public key. You know, modify, there's a Python code section where. Generate key. Of that section. Awesome.
Yes, yes.
That also.
Okay.
I was looking at try-hackney's way of.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we have a public RSA key. Oh dear. They're even giving us the in and e values. Very, very nice. Okay.
the what and what values?
That's more for
Oh, I see it now. I see it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it.
that's more for cryptography nerds. You don't need to worry about that. So we have to take that public key and generate a JSON web token using it. Now I believe in order to do that, convert it to a suitable format. Oh, it's using Burp Suite. Yeah. Once you have the public key in a suitable format, you can modify the JWT however you like. Make sure the algorithm is set to that. Oops. And what is the? Yeah, so these features require burp suite, so we'll probably have to use a different approach. Yes. I do. Why?
The application section. Just- that's the thing, but it's- quantify your micro- that changes. Take a look at it. I mean, unless you want.
I'll send it in the Discord server. I'll check it out later.
Long story short, I'm not even getting, I'm getting issues with my VM. Right. I'm running into user error.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to. At this point, I'm flying blind, to be honest. Here.
Oh.
Public key. Change the algorithm.
Yeah. That was.
Now let's try putting the secrets in here. Now tell me, what's the proper format? Version of the key that you used to sign the JWT must be identical to the server's local copy. Same format. Every single byte must match. To a PEM using JWT. So yes, luckily, I believe this is in PEM format.
This is what?
You notice that it mentions PEM to a PEM, X509 PEM format. This is a specific format for showing public and private keys.
I'm laughing, was like.
PEM, originally privacy enhanced mail, most common format. It's a text file containing one or more items in base 64 with plain text headers and footers. A single PEM contain. You notice these footers, begin certificate and end certificate?
It's like that helps. It's like that.
This is in PEM format. So if I copy just the part in between it and use it as a secret,
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. You look how old it is.
which checkbox? Yes, I think so. Well, we'll have to try a few things here. What's their space? Did I do that right?
Oh, it's just just
Let me check. That point face?
lost.
Oh. It's like a new line, yeah. Paragraph.
Oh, there's another.
Wait, I missed
See the
two?
other space? There's another space?
I'm sure this is riveting for everyone. I'm serious.
Yeah. Yeah, all the paragraphs. few lines.
You were making sure. Oh my God.
Love our white space. Okay, there we go. That's good.
How many pieces? We're gonna have to do it again.
That's right. It's double, make sure that
Copy,
you don't.
copy it.
No, but actually, it'll transfer that information to the left side, so you just have to copy the left side. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It's automatically.
Oh, but you have more thing.
Yep.
Oh, Tester, go back to Tester. Oh my God.
Hold on, everybody. There.
It's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Everything. Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
Well, no promises. This,
I know.
We already modified the signature, we added the signature and,
What's gonna happen?
all right,
Wow.
and then.
yep,
Invalid.
invalid token.
What happened? What happened?
Invalid token. So anyway, it'll take a little bit of work to
You don't
get
know
it.
the answer.
No,
Yeah, I told you that at the beginning. I told,
I thought you. I didn't see what you do.
yeah, I don't have the answer to base.
But it's definitely.
I do not have the answer to base. That's the only one I don't have the answer to.
Okay, got it. That's fine, that's fine. It's interesting. It's what it looks like when you're actually trying to work through it.
Yeah, this is the process, exactly.
If you really think it's the signature validation mistake, so I'm gonna share that thing about try hacking signature validation.
Perfect. This is only the first step, by the way. That's why this is a hard challenge.
So we can get into the.
Yep.
Log in, so there's probably more stuff. So it's not because of the, wait a second, go back to the DWT.io. Can we make sure that you actually make sure that, back to it, go all the way to the top? No, go all the way to the top. No, bottom. There. So it's, oh yeah, it is metric. Never mind, I was getting excited.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
He did. That's what he did. He's modified. Oh, to the S. Tester to the S.
Here, I'll log in.
Oh man, I went. Tester.
Is plural?
No, just hold it on.
Oh, it does say testers.
Oh.
Oh.
Hey,
Hold on a second.
What's going
Hold
on?
on. So it is clear,
Access denied.
listen, we aren't entirely clear if it is the tester or the tester's role, but that wouldn't matter because the invalid token indicates that there's an issue with the token, not the role.
the token itself.
It would modify the token, but it's a matter of verification. This tool is automatically creating validated signatures. It'll give us a different token, but the same.
This,
The real issue here is I am not using proper tools, it seems.
Yeah, I've only did,
like, I wanna connect with, you know, the joke, right? Everybody's saying like, number, so I'm like, I gotta connect with everybody.
Oh, yeah, very picky about the network.
I don't think that, I don't think that's my place. Yeah, because I needed my LinkedIn much earlier, like, I never needed a LinkedIn. to make jobs before. Well, yeah, but then nowadays everybody's like, yeah, you could be LinkedIn with people, like, it's like, yeah, you're probably not. I don't know about that. So let's talk later. It's called. Have low self-esteem. The imposter syndrome, that's right. I have a bit of it. Well, yeah. I totally.
Anyway,
Let's talk later. Imposter syndrome, whatever.
so generally, this is probably as far as I'm going to get on this. If any of you get further, I applaud you. Um, you know, I'd have to ask the author, if that's all right. Because the challenge is explicitly made to keep the source code obfuscated.
Can you modify the algorithm to RX and see what happens? Would it allow you to? No, okay, so you would have to again stick to.
Yeah, I think,
Maybe we made a mistake somewhere.
yeah, like this should work.
I feel like we're really close, but probably some error somewhere, right?
It has to be exact.
Next, how long are you gonna keep this challenge open? Is it just like until now, or?
Honestly, like we can keep it open for a while if you want to keep plugging at it. Like I'll have to talk to Alexi. We only plan to have it open for today, so like till the end of the day.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Last time
Brain fuel.
Patience, my sluggishness is happening right now.
Yeah, exactly.
If I had in 2 hours, I'll be like this.
Yeah. We've been here for a while. Oh,
Well, but we're coming from San Francisco, that's where we live, and so like the last time I ate was this morning, like literally.
Oh, so.
oh yeah, I need to get
You
some
have
food.
like 5
Yeah,
hours.
oh, longer than that, so if I ate at 9 AM, you know, like it's what time now, 5? Yeah, exactly, it's been 8 hours since I last ate, and my body's like, oh, like, you need some sugar, you're gonna die.
Since we're coming up on 5 o'clock, I'm probably gonna wrap this up.
Okay,
Anyone else have any general questions about CTF or like any challenges?
but if you.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, I actually have some experience. I actually wrote one problem for Pico CTF 2025 and for DEFCON adversely I wrote some attack box kind of thing, like out the box kind of for CTF challenge.
So we're still thinking about how to do that. What I'm probably gonna do is something similar to what the AppSec Village did for DEF CON. They had an open forum where you can submit finalized challenges with the description, any infrastructure files or folders you need, whatever Docker file you might have, and the flag, and then a write-up would also be nice. But generally, it's probably going to be pretty open. Like whatever ideas you have, like ultimately you can go work on it on your own time, do whatever you want, and then submit it later, and we'll take a look at it and talk about it, put it in. But if you want to like collaborate on that, I can open up a channel on the Discord or or something like that.
I hope so. I
Perfect.
also- I see the edge on.
They're from Carnegie,
Sure.
so.
Perfect. Are you two on the Discord server?
I'm first time attending the event.
I joined the Discord.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll get you both of your usernames and like add you to a group in a chat and yeah, we have like one other person interested, so I'll add you all and you talk, submit your ideas, and we'll give you feedback. Yeah. And here for let me get you the QR code.
I'm already
Right here. Yes.
I joined it today.
Perfect.
And after joining, what should I?
Just is it? Which one are you?
I'm Guts.
Gus.
I'm yummy food too.
You can join this.
I haven't. What was this for?
Which?
No, I haven't joined.
Oh, you haven't joined yet. Okay, when you join, I'll add you. Good for you. Yeah, just
I contact.
Yeah.
Contact him.
yeah, I'll have to create a new role. New role. Wait, or is that just? All right, whatever. I'll get to that later.
By the way, I'm Sai.
Sai,
Yeah,
nice to meet you. I'm Max
nice to meet you. I'm a graduate student at Carnegie Mellon.
at Carnegie Mellon.
Yeah,
Well, no way.
yeah.
Oh, wait.
I'm here in my SV campus. There is a branch here in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
And there is also a branch in Pittsburgh. So yeah.
Yeah, I know their CTF team is legit.
CPP.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually play for them sometimes.
Oh my god.
I
Okay.
mean, not the main team. The main team is like pro lines, like they have alum and all those things.
Oh
I
yeah.
play for like B team, which like we play for CTFs and all.
Okay, that makes sense. It makes sense that they have normal teams.
The main team is like crazy. Yeah, like alums and doctorates. I don't know, they're like super crazy guys.
Yeah, totally.
They win DEFCON every time. DEFCON CTF like.
Yeah, I noticed that they've won it like what 5-6 years in a row.
Yeah. Every time.
They're too powerful.
Too far.
You know.
Yeah. So
But
what
yeah.
do you do?
Maybe next time.
Professionally in a sense.
Yeah. So I'm a security researcher at StemGrad.
Oh, I know this.
You know?
I used for SAST. You know, I was actually at one point of time trying to get CVs in WordPress plugins. I used SendGraph and automated all those things to see if there is any, vulnerable parameters and all those things. I use SendGraph.
Yeah, we love to see that. It's like that was a project that was like a project by someone who used to work there, but used to be my coworker. It's just like, hey, you want to find some vulnerabilities? Just run SemGrep on WordPress and see what you can find.
Can we the call?
Oh yeah, totally. It's funny. I was ignoring my LinkedIn for months, and then yesterday I finally went on there and just
So many connections.
caught up on all the connections.
I mostly like offensive security. So
How do you get this?
learn this in Python. Just click on this. Code and anyone can. Unfortunately, I ran out of connection requests. So thank you for sending me a connection.
You ran out of connection requests?
Yeah, there's like a limit every week, like 25 or 30. Within more than that, you have to wait for more week to send.
Oh my god.
So
Trying to get you to buy Pro.
yeah,
Awesome.
I also. He also has, we have our YouTube channel on cybersecurity.
Really?
yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. I post only offensive security thing.
Yeah.
That thing. It is kind of ridiculous, but
Oh, awesome. Yeah, buffer overflows. Oh, that's cool.
So, I'm trying to keep it as diverse as I can, like trying to include forensic content and stuff like that, but previously it's used to be directly like pen testing. I mean, I did OSCP, so.
Yeah. You're trying to share your OCP knowledge.
Yeah, kind of.
That's awesome.
So, next on this topic.
Yes, yes. Hop on Discord. I'll give you the role.
What's your Discord ID?
Fidget cube.
Good.
Yes. I nothing to do with helium that was stolen. Sorry, I mean, I had nothing to do with the helium that was stolen. Sorry. Sorry, then, you know,
Yes.
that's volunteer work, like, Husky, Google. Yeah, basically.
Nice. Oh, so you're totally like.
Yeah, but I'm doing my stuff. I'm verifying my picture. I'm putting on Discord picture.
Fidget cube, yeah.
Okay, can I message you about CTF problems?
Yes, please. Okay, what's your?
GSGX, the one we posted.
Okay, so that's, here's X. We got four. Great.
That's great. That's level 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be really helpful, because, we've never had a shortage of challenges, but like. Like getting the variety of challenges and also like. Getting your
Exactly. I mean, it's really cool. You have like a variety of things.
Yeah, I had stuff.
But it should drink in the juicer. How do you do it?
In sugar.
There's only so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of crap, but like.
But you only start cracking on it.
2 days ago.
Oh,
You should get some.
No, I would.
Video games. Please tell me. Video games.
So unfortunately,
No, I was following it.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
It's actually-
Oh.